Haters, ¿cómo están? Bienvenidos nuevamente aquí a otra edición en Conversaciones desde el Inframundo, conmigo su host el Hater. Y en esta ocasión tenemos la fortuna, el placer de hablar con Ryan Calaveras y con Carlos Velázquez, quienes son miembros de una gran banda que si no la han escuchado, de verdad que se están perdiendo un muy buen metal. Estoy hablando de la banda Doomsday, que ellos apenas estamos hablando que fue el viernes pasado, lanzaron su primer álbum, el primer álbum de la banda, que me voló la cabeza, tengo que ser sincero, haters, es de lo mejor que he escuchado en mucho, mucho tiempo. La banda es oriunda de Oakland, en California, y el título del álbum es Never Known Peace, que salió a la venta este 28 de marzo a través de Creator-Destructor Records. So, guys, thanks a lot for your time, for being here for Conversation from the Underworld. Brian, Carlos, how are you doing, guys?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Yeah,
I'll,
doing
I'll, I'll
fantastic.
I'll
Thanks
say
for
this in
having us.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Gracias a todo el mundo en el mundo latino por escucharnos. Lo apreciamos mucho. Gracias.
Great, guys. Great. Thanks for the effort, man. I mean, I know Spanish is a
Yeah.
harsh language, so thanks a lot for that. And what about you, Ryan? Do you manage some Spanish? I mean, you're in a band with lots of folks who are from Latino heritage. Surely you know a few words.
Wait,
No,
I think actually
no,
I'm the
I just
only
I just
Latino member in the
understand it.
band.
Really, because just reading
Yeah, and yeah,
the last names of the members, I mean, you have lots of lots of them in the names. Maybe just
It's
lost in
fun.
time.
It's like a it's funny because like Ryan and our bassist G, they're Filipino and they had like the Filipino culture. They have like a lot of like Spanish
yeah.
like influence, so they just take like it might they like it's a Poly like is it Polynesian or is it like a
No, no, it's
wait, what is
Southeast
it? No,
Pacific.
not Polynesian. Sorry, I saw that. I know this. Why am I messing it up? But yeah, like for whatever reason, like they have like a bunch of Spanish last names down over there.
Yeah, that has to do with World War II. I know lots
Yeah,
Yep,
of
yep.
Mexican pilots landed
yeah,
there, and also a lot of Spanish people lived there back in the day.
yeah.
So maybe that's
Mhm.
why.
Yeah, probably. And
Yeah,
I'm originally from Puerto Rico.
Oh, great, man. So very close here.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we are just not white.
Yeah. Thank
No,
God.
man. Thanks a lot for your time, for being here. I really appreciate your time, guys. And if you don't mind, let me start with the first question I got for you. And the first question is courtesy of both Brittany and Joan, who are part of the band Wake. And the first question I got for you is this one. What was the first record that shifted your spirit in a way that opened the door inside you?
oh, um, oh wow, that's a really like I guess like the first record that I can recall was a long time ago. Um, I guess opened the door inside of me to music. I would say Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, I was already like really into music, but when I first moved to the United States, when I started like my first job, a friend of mine showed me an EP by this band called Burn, called Shall Be Judged, and that's what it basically introduced me to like hardcore, and that just
Mm.
changed my whole
Mm.
life for the better or the worse. I don't know, but like it with if they didn't show me that record, and I would not be doing this right now. I would not want have to started like a band or go to hardcore shows.
No, of course, was for the better. I mean,
Yeah,
you all created this piece of art that it's amazing. So obviously, it was for the better. Good influences. I can relate to the one Ryan said because yeah, I'm a '90s child. So
hmm
one of my uncles showed me Guns N' Roses. Appetite for Destruction was the first record I heard of them, and obviously Sweet Child of Mine. You know the classic for of the rap of
Oh
the
yeah.
hard rock.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Thanks. And John asks this. It's a deeper, even deeper question. What was the first record that came out of that you attached to? A record that wasn't actually heavy, but the lyrics were heavy, and then you started to maybe realize that heavy was more of a vibe instead of a sound that is more emotional.
Yeah, I gotta think about this one.
That's a really good question. Like
Yeah.
lyrically,
Good question. Such a good
that's a
question.
really good question.
Yeah. One to
That's a
think
good
about.
That's a really good
question.
question. That really caught me off guard.
Yeah, don't worry, guys.
Ah,
Maybe if you like, you can have some minutes to think about it, and we can revisit that question at the end of my
I'm
questions.
I'm probably gonna need
yes.
a couple minutes, like a maybe like a while to
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
that one.
let's circle back.
Yeah, of course, guys. Well, then we will start with my questions are more related to your work and the work that you did in this amazing album. And the first question I got for you is this one. Well, these days, the most recognized and successful bands of the subgenre share little or almost nothing with the bands that truly keep the sound and flame of thrash metal alive. Bands like Metallica, Megadeth, and Anthrax are becoming less aggressive and slower, while others like Sodom, Exodus, and Overkill, just to name a few, struggle to keep the flame alive. What inspires you to continue your path within a subgenre that has such marked difference among its main exponents?
I think a lot of
Hmm.
it, what it has to do is like for us, this band was like a hardcore band first and for foremost. We mainly came up with a lot of hardcore band, and that is a very like can be a very intense genre live, especially with how like, violent it can get, how rowdy it can get.
Yeah,
And just being exposed to that and being around that while still trying to like maintain like, that thrash element helped us a lot because, we when we wanted to keep changing like or like decide on direction for the band, we like there was no way that we weren't gonna do like have influence from like early Metallica, Slayer, Iron Age.
yeah,
That we weren't gonna have influence from Sepultura, and but still trying to maintain like us. Like at the end of it, I think like without us like being exposed to like the hardcore scene, I don't think you know the spirit of what this band is or what I think it is in my head. I don't think that would exist.
Hmm.
great.
Yeah, like I mean we're really heavily rooted in hardcore.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter which direction we would go in. It's just, it's always gonna snap back to that. Like that spirit is still there, and no matter how hard we try to deviate from our the sound, it always snaps back to it.
yeah, because definitely, as you say, hardcore, crossover, thrash metal,
Hmm.
those subgenres have a lot in common, especially the aggressiveness, the rawness, the speed. It's something that
Mhm.
those subgenres share, and obviously you have influences from a plethora of bands outside of the thrash scene and inside, and well, I think that you managed to capture just the best out of those scenes and just blend it all in a very rare nowadays. It's rare mix of very good riffing, speed, and just a heavy claim, just a frantic scream of liberation through this album, and that's what I like the most about it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Oh,
man, don't even
thank you.
mention it. Uh, the next question I got for you guys is this one. Well, thrash and its relative subgenres have long since stopped evolving their sound, but somehow in this album, you have managed to make the old formulas and classic elements of those subgenres sound fresh and revitalizing. What's your secret for creating songs that have injected a much needed dose of adrenaline into the scene?
Um, yeah, like when like I started writing riffs for the, so I pretty much write the instrumentals to the band, and Charlie over here does the lyrics and helps with the songwriting process. And it's I have my influences. I have the Slayers and the Metallicas and whatnot. And but what I try to really capture is how the crowd will react to stuff,
Mhm.
and see how much tension I can build within a song. Even down to the mechanics of the song. It's just like, how do I fill out this dead space where Charlie doesn't say anything? Or how do I have this lead sit under his vocals? Um, and how do I have this drum fill stick out? Uh, like when, when it needs to be. Uh, but all in all, I mean, just going to shows, I just notice how the crowd moves to certain parts. And it's like,
Mhm.
all right, we want the crowd to move a certain way here, so here's the drum beat that will do that. Um, but also maintaining, in my head, coherent songwriting, and just try to mesh that together. So it's trying to capture that energy and trying to envision the crowd when I write these songs.
Yeah, definitely like a goal for this album was to like transfer like how we play live into the record because we had realized that, we play a lot, like more intense live than our previous two EPs. And like, when
Mhm.
we came to that realization, it's like we need to really translate this because like it it should be like one experience. You shouldn't be able to
Mhm.
like what you hear on the record is like what you should be expecting out of us at a live show. Because like I think that's for us what we pride ourselves the most. Is like at least I feel like we do a bad like a good ass job like playing live. So like it like that aspect of the band needs to translate to the record.
Yeah, and I haven't seen you live, obviously, but man,
You gotta come through. You gotta come
yeah, man, definitely,
through.
because I know that, of course, the Bay Area scene and all California is packed with great bands, great sounds, fresh aggressiveness, and lots of talent. But you guys, just hearing the album, you can catch that whatever is in it, you will get when you see the band live because I mean it's very well produced. Don't get me wrong, but everything that you hear in the record, you can say, well, that's totally, you can replicate that live. There's nothing on the production that you see, well, that's just was enhanced by the production and the mixing and all that stuff. No, nothing like that. You just, this is totally playable live. This is, you can replicate this sound on a stage, whether it's a big arena or a small club, you can definitely get this sound live. And that's something that just noticed in the first time I heard the record.
No, yeah, 100%. And like that's
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 yeah.
big props to Zach Oren who mixed and mastered our record. He's worked with Machine Head, Suffocation, a bunch of other like dope bands. And like when he did the second EP, the self-titled EP, and we'd never worked with him before. That came at a recommendation from like our label head, Ben from Creator-Destructor,
Mhm.
because he's in a band with him. And after he did that second EP, he like had told us, guys, I understand your sound. I get it. I get it. Let's if you're gonna do some like a record, like I got you. And I'm so happy like we went with that because like he's insane. He's like he really like understands the essence of a band and how to like really push that forward into like a way that like I didn't even know that could be a thing, man. Like that's crazy. Like good. Shout out Zach.
Yeah, shout out Zach, he's amazing. But that's really great to hear that like we captured that live essence because that was a really huge thing that Charlie and I were trying to go for. Um, but yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to Seth. Amazing job. I mean, it's a formula. It's a teamwork that um, I'm pretty sure you will be eager to replicate in upcoming works because it just sounds amazing. I really enjoy every single detail about the record. You know, the beats, the shredding. The voice, man. You are fucking crazy, man. It's something epic. I mean it. I'm a vocalist myself, and when I heard your singing, I was blown away. Like, man, this guy just know what he's doing, and he's not afraid to shine or to just go out there and explode. And the what I like the most is that you don't sing on top of the music. You blend with the music, and the music
Hmm.
blends with your voice, and it's a combination that it's really fascinating.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to do of course some songs, some riffs. It the right way is to be a little bit more straightforward, like with your vocal patterns and like the things you do. But when listening to Ryan's stuff, he has such a different approach to writing guitar parts that it makes my job easier. We have like a really good songwriting relationships because we understand where each other's mindset is going to go to when it comes to a song. I and the way that we also write uh songs is Ryan sends the riffs, I come up with a lyric, a vocal pattern, we record it, and then Ryan listens back to it and he kind of molds the riff again to kind of fit it or change it to make it more interesting. So it's a lot of back and forth between me and him.
Of course, a great band always will need a good marriage between the guitars and the vocals. It's something that it just needs to be there because
Hmm.
if not, well, it's kind of being just an open sea without any guidance. And if you guys have each other's back in that regard, that's just a formula for success. And you can hear that in this album. I mean, success all over the place. It's really. I know that I have said this many times, but it's amazing the work that you did in this album. I'm pretty blown away about the mechanics and the dynamics that you put in, and I'm just sharing it with everyone I know because it's something that worth the time listen, and something that should be shared around the heavy music community.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Great, guys. The other question I got for you is this one. Do you believe that descending from ethnicities that have historically been discriminated, repressed, and abused minorities in the US influences the explosiveness and violence of your music?
100%. Yeah, growing up in Puerto Rico, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, especially around the time I was growing up, and a lot of that stuff uh kind of reflects how I approach, performing and doing music because I don't think I would still be around here if it wasn't for this band. I am so grateful and appreciative to be doing what I'm doing because it's what's, you know, keeping me around. And, on top of that, seeing the injustices that happen every day. I say this almost every single show. This band stands for a free Palestine. It stands, for every single marginalized person, and we will use that voice because those people probably can't use theirs, And I to me personally, I don't really care if in your head you think you have a small platform or oh, I don't have X amount of followers, X amount of things, you have you have a choice, to like say something,
A
say
voice,
like
yeah.
I feel like it's fine if you are in a band and you just want to have a good time. You just want to like play shows and like, like just have fun. That's totally fine, but to me, I feel like if you're writing about something and you're not really like following up with it with how you live, every day, then like, what are you really doing? What are you really here for besides having a good time?
Yeah, coherence. You have to be coherent.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. And I know that uh, obviously people who come from struggle, whether it's big trouble or little trouble, always have a vision that kind of separates them from the rest. And maybe that's the reason that they have a very resonating voice, a louder voice, even, I don't know, rightful or pure
Hmm.
claim to
Mhm.
speak about the things that are wrong in our society and the things that we would like to do to amend those wrongs.
Hmm.
And man, I mean, in the album, you can find lyrics that involve kind of tales and a little fantasy, if you want to call it like that. But at at the bottom of those lyrics and at the bottom of the attitude and the power within each song, you can hear that it's a very righteous claim and a very necessary one. Great, guys. Uh, the last question I got for you before we circle back to the to the second that John
Oh
asked
God.
is this one. Without a doubt, many times, no matter how incredible talent a band has, sometimes that simply is not enough. And for me, this album has put you on the path to greatness. And because of that, I expect even bigger and better things from Doomsday. As a band and as individuals, do you feel prepared for the challenges that being on that path represent?
Hmm. Um, I, I mean, you can plan as much as you want. Like you can kind of guess where you're gonna go, but there's no really telling, at least for me in my experience, like what's gonna happen in the future. Um, for me, I always just take it day by day, and when we get there, and we'll find a way to deal with it. Um, but in terms of being ready, I'm ready to just deal with it when it gets to that point.
Yeah, 100%. Like me and Ryan, we talked about, and with the rest of the guys in the band too, like what is it that we really want to do with this band? Because, we, in the off chance that, people really like the record and, we can do something more than like what we've, been expecting, like what is it, what do we really want to do? Do we just want to like play a couple shows here and there, or do we really want to take this to like, what on my end, I feel like where it could go, and it's like that is like such a huge sacrifice, to put everything into your music and your band and your craft because you like for so many other bands, like, it kind of stops at some point. They have to like, you know, take what they have and, you know, stick with that and they don't ever really get the chance to like go further beyond, and like when we had that conversation like that we are ready to put, everything on the line for this, like quit our jobs, like go on the tours, like, do the hard work, like
Yeah.
spill that blood, like I feel like, we're ready for it, because like at least for me, there's nothing else I want to do. This is it. Like this is like I don't see anything else,
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like living the dream, but to live the dream, you definitely have to work hard, have discipline. Don't be afraid of the sweat, of the pain in the back, and sometimes it will be rough days. Sometimes will be like uh, walking amongst the clouds and stuff like that. But you definitely have to put some effort on it in order to grasp some success at least,
Hmm.
because there's even
Mhm.
bands who have lots of talent, have even lots of support, but at the end of the day, they don't have like what it takes, or maybe they just don't want to have it. Like you said, like you guys said, maybe they just want to have fun for a while and just don't want to be, you know, an example or some figure to follow, just to have a good time, and it's totally valid.
Hmm.
But if you
Mhm.
guys, as you guys are saying, you're trying to achieve something greater than have a good time and just make great tunes. I can honestly say that with your previous EPs and the songs that you release as singles, um, you just like put the first miles on the road that now with this album it's looking much clearer from my perspective, because I mean I listen to your whole music that you have created, and just makes sense. You are coherent, and now with the messages in your album and the energy that I can perceive from it, I can totally and honestly say that to whoever to want to ask that I believe you. I believe that you want to achieve something greater than yourself, something greater than just great music. And I can not say anything else that congratulations for that commitment to yourself, to the band, to your ideals, and just to be true to yourselves. That's something that needs to be recognized more often. And I think maybe we, as a community of heavy music listeners, we should start to congratulate our peers and our folks just for being who they are.
Oh yeah,
No,
100%.
100%. Like for us, being like entrenched in that like hardcore scene, it's a very like face value scene. Like, like what you hear from the people singing and like with their messages, that's them. It's not like a front that they're doing. It's not like they're playing a part. No, it's like that is the person behind the mic, the person behind that band is is who you're listening to. It's like that real person. And for us, we wanted to be from inception, we wanted to like, be a little different. Like for us, like when we first started the band, like me and Ryan really bonded over this band called Iron Age from Texas. And like that's my all-time favorite band. And like that's a band that did everything different and stood out from the scene from the get-go. And like that was like such like inspiring to me because like it was like you can do this shit. You don't have to like sound like everyone else. You can like do like weird like lyrics and like all the but to me like staying true to yourself, especially as a band is very hard to do because you can sometimes get like a little lost, because like you want to like fit the mold in some way. You want to like, oh, maybe we need to change our sound this way. Maybe I need to write different lyrics. Maybe I need to do this and that. And like for us, like no, like this is like we're gonna do us day one. And I feel like that reflects in the music because like a lot of the stuff can be like it's like a different for us it's a different approach to like thrash metal. It's like it's something that like we
Mhm.
want it to be, to stand out and that people recognize that it is different, but at its core it's what they grew up listening to. Like I said it like into before, like this record is a love letter to like all the shit that we grew up listening to, but like we're still being Doomsday, and at the end of the day, that's all I want to do with this band. I just want to be Doomsday. I just want to be with like my boys, playing music, having a good time. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of went on a tangent here.
No, man. Thanks for that. I mean, I read that in the press kit, and yeah, totally agree with that. That's a great message. And Guys, circle back. We have just a few minutes
All right.
to finish the interview. So, do you think about a record that you found? Maybe you found out that heaviness is not about just a sound, but a vibe or something beside a sound.
Hmm. I can't think of a whole record, but I can think of a song.
Yeah, that
Um,
works.
for for me, it's the ending solo, the outro solo, "The Comfortably Numb" by Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Um, that is just the emotion put into the every single note, every single bend, every single hammer on. It's just it's just such a heavy feeling for me. When I first heard it, I was like, "Holy shit, this thing is this thing is I don't know what the hell this is, but I need to play this." And it just evokes a certain emotion in me, at least when I listen to it. Um, but yeah, it just sparked something in me that was, I guess, like to describe it, it is a heavy feeling. Just with the tempo of the song, the notes, how it's played, it's perfect.
Great, man. Thanks for sharing that. And what about you, Charlie?
I can't think of anything. It's such
Don't
a
worry,
hard question
man.
because I would have to like I would really have to go on a deep dive because in my head like I feel like I can like come up with like so many examples, but nothing is like I feel like it's at the tip of my tongue.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna have to like talk to you again at some point with an answer because I got nothing right now.
Yeah, man. Don't worry. Don't worry. Uh, it's better if you help me, guys, with a question that I can use for my next guest. Do you think about something that you want to ask? I mean, it can be anything: books, food, music, movies. I don't know, whatever you like.
So my fiance asked me this question a long time ago. I thought it was an amazing question. If
Okay.
you had, all right, so you know how KFC and Taco Bell are kind of like sometimes they have merger restaurants and they have like they're like sometimes in one building.
Yeah.
The question is, if you had two fast food joints that can be together as one restaurant, which two would you choose?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Good question. Good question. A fun one. Thanks, Ryan. And Carlos?
Okay. I was gonna say the first one that comes to my mind. Like for me,
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff that inspires me to write lyrics are is like manga and like games. Like I love Berserk. Like that's my favorite manga of all time because like it deals with
Okay.
a lot of like topics of struggle and and Dark Souls and Elden Ring and stuff like that. Like because like I just like living in that fantasy and stuff like that. Like what is something that you think is like that you draw inspiration from to come up with lyrics? That's all I can think of. Like
Good question, guys. Good question. Thanks a lot, Carlos. I will definitely use that in my next interview.
I
And
wish I could have said
guys,
it better.
don't worry, man. It works just fine. Guys, I can thank you enough for your time and thanks for being here, for talking to me, to be so fun to talk to. And if you want to give a message to the haters, please be my guest.
Yeah, in Spanish again.
Yeah.
Otra vez, gracias por si no han escuchado, gracias por apoyarnos. It means the world to us. Yo sé que hay otra banda en México que se llama Doomsday.
Sí, no
Yo
son
no sabía,
muy
yo
distinta.
no sabía, yo no sabía. Pero
No.
shout out to them too, like that's my message.
Thanks, guys. Y haters, nos estamos viendo en la siguiente entrevista. Espero que les haya gustado. Nos estamos conectando en los siguientes videos. Guys, thanks a lot for the time.